The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
So welcome everybody again to the Ask the Experts webinar hosted by First Canada. Today you're going to hear a lot less of me and a lot more of the presenter, which is the way it should be all along. In any case, as we do every week, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box or the question box, and I'll read them out. If we need to unmute you, we'll do that so that you can hear. And as always, this is being recorded. We did have an issue last week where it didn't record, but I'm crossing my fingers and my toes, and I think we'll work fine tonight. At least that's what I'm praying for. Once we record it, we will post it on the First Canada YouTube channel, and I will post that link to the recording on the First Canada Facebook page, and Jan Holder will also post it on various social media platforms for you to see. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. You'll have lots of questions, and this summer or next summer or some summer soon, you'll be in Shad and come back to tell us what an experience it was. So without further ado, we have with us Jess Tang, who's the outreach lead for Shad. I don't know if that's just in Ontario, but you can see on the screen, she has her email there. You may have questions that occur to you after we finish, and certainly you can contact Jess to learn a little bit more about Shad and how you can actually go on there. I was mentioning we have had First Canada people, or people in First, whose sons and daughters and some actual students who are on First teams have participated in Shad. So we did see that on a Facebook post last night where people were putting in some comments about it. So I've delayed long enough so that people could get on and not miss anything important that Jess has to say. And without further ado, here's Jess Tang.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you, Paul, for that introduction. Really excited to be here and to share with you guys a little bit more about the Shad program. Certainly, we know year after year, every time I run the program, I get students in our group that say, yep, I'm in First Robotics. And every time I go out to some of the district events and I talk to students, it's so clear to me that First Robotics students are the types of students who thrive at Shad and who do really well in our program. And if you like First, you're probably going to really, really like Shad. And so I'm excited to host this webinar to share a little bit about what is Shad, and also tell you information about the Shad specific scholarships that we have for First Robotics students. So if you are in First Robotics, you are eligible to be able to go to Shad on full scholarship based on one of our, and I'll talk a little bit more about what that scholarship looks like. But first, what is Shad? So as mentioned, my name is Jess Tang. I am actually a Shad alumni myself. So when I was in your shoes in grades 10, 11, and 12, when I was in grade 11, I actually went through this program. And I was lucky enough to go to a high school where a student 1 year above me went to the program and gave a presentation at my school. I was so inspired by that presentation that now I work full-time for the organization, and my job is to go around the country to give that presentation to make sure other students also get the same opportunity to learn about the program and then also have the opportunity to apply. Because if you don't know about it, you can't apply. And it would suck. I think it would suck for you to not apply simply because you weren't aware of the program. So why this is so special to me is when I was in high school, when I was your age, I had a lot of diverse interests. I was in our school's IB program, so I was super nerdy and I loved learning, but I was also a big jock. Like sports was a big part of my high school experience, so I loved and a big focus for me in my time was sports. And then I was also a musician. And so I had all these seemingly diverse interests in different friend groups, and I never really knew where I fit in high school. And it wasn't until I went to Shad that I actually met like-minded students to me. And it wasn't until Shad that I actually met students that were also into a lot of different things. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm the one jock, or I'm the one IB kid, or a super nerd. In fact, I was in an environment where everyone had diverse interests and everyone was also really into the things that I was into. And I also met students that had passions that I didn't even, and hobbies that I didn't even know about. And I was able to be inspired after meeting them to go do those things after high school myself. So for me, it was, again, similar like First Robotics, an opportunity to meet like-minded peers. And also, for me, it was the first time I was meeting student leaders from all across the country. So I met students from rural Newfoundland, PEI, all the way to downtown Toronto to Vancouver. And so it was really cool to be able to meet students from all over Canada. And so that's what I really got out of my Shad experience. So what is Shad? First and foremost, we're a nonprofit, and what we do is we run a summer enrichment program where high school students, that's you, get to spend the entire month of July living and learning at a university campus outside your hometown. So on July 1st, 2019, you say, goodbye, parents, I love you. I will see you at the end of the month. And then you go off to one of our 17 host university campuses. You live in residence at one of them. And then every single day, you're doing hands-on learning in lectures, labs, workshops, activities in all areas of STEAM, as well as business and entrepreneurship. So it's a really transformational experience. And no, we don't stand for anything. Shad is not an acronym. That is our most commonly asked question. A lot of students ask us, a lot of students go through a program and say, oh my God, that was the best month of my life. That was so life-changing, that was transformative. And we always say to them, Shad isn't the best month of your life. It is actually the best month for your life. Because at the end of the day, it's not just a summer camp away. It truly is a lifelong network that you're entering into that's going to yield lifelong alumni benefits. So our Shad month-long program is just the beginning of a lifelong Shad journey. And I'll get into a little bit more about the alumni benefits, but first let's take a look at what does 27 days at Shad actually look like. First and foremost, hands-on lectures, labs, and workshops and challenges in the areas of STEAM, so science, tech, engineering, arts, math, as well as business, entrepreneurship, and leadership. So it's really STEAM Bell, but we'll call it STEAM for now. And so for all you First Robotics students that love hands-on learning, you love building stuff, or you love coding stuff, or you love collaborating, this is that, but on steroids and for 27 days. And you're going to be in a university campus. So we're actually going to take you into the facilities of the university so you can get a deep dive into STEAM using the actual equipment of university professors and researchers. So you'll actually get to do workshops and labs alongside and under the guidance and mentorship of world-class researchers in the environments at the university where world-class research is being done. So for example, you can see one of the photos here on the left there. That photo was taken at our UBC campus 2 years ago during what we call our BC Children's Hospital Day. So we take the students, the Shads, into the BC Children's Hospital, and they do a full day of medical research labs. So you actually go into the hospital, meet with current medical doctors and researchers, and then you get to do things like look through a $2 million microscope. So hands-on, crazy learning. And then on the other side, you're also going to do things like this photo here with the robot that was taken out of University of Waterloo campus, where you actually got to code and work with and build robots, using robots and programs at the university level that University of Waterloo has. So it's a really cool way to get hands-on learning. It's a cool way to learn from university professors and also use the equipment that your high school probably can't offer you. Each university is a little bit different in terms of what it can offer. So this photo up here where she's holding a lobster, that was taken at one of our East Coast campuses. Obviously where there's the Atlantic Ocean, they have things like lobsters. So they do this whole marine biology workshop. And that's a workshop that, say, our University of Saskatchewan campus won't offer. However, University of Saskatchewan will offer its own unique workshops and lectures based on its personnel and its resources. So regardless of which campus you go to, you will get hands-on learning in all areas of STEAM, business, entrepreneurship, and leadership. And there's no one campus that focuses on just one. There is something for everyone here at Shad. And it doesn't matter if you are really business-minded or really science-minded. Again, this is an opportunity for you to get a taste of everything. Shad is also a unique opportunity for you to explore Canada. So if you have the travel bug and want to get outside your hometown and really see what's out there, this is a great opportunity to do so and have what is truly the adventure of a lifetime. So beyond just being nerd camp and doing lectures and labs all day, we're actually going to take you to do a lot of outdoor activities where you can actually see the beauty of the city that you're located in, that your host campus is located in. So you'll do things like go on hikes, you'll go on an overnight camping trip, you'll get to see the beautiful nature. This main photo here was taken literally this last July at our UBC campus out in Vancouver, which is the campus I run every summer. We take the students up an 8-kilometer hike up a mountain. And so you get to actually summit a mountain, see this beautiful view that is breathtaking. You'll also, in addition to going hiking and overnight camping, you'll also get to see the local sights and sounds of that city. So there's a lot of culturally and socially relevant activities that you'll do within the city that you're located in for your Shad campus. So for example, if you're at our McGill campus in Montreal, you'll do things like a walking tour of old Montreal. You'll get to see French Canadian culture. You'll eat poutine, you'll eat Montreal bagels, and you'll get to go shopping in downtown Montreal. If you're at our PEI campus, you'll get to do things like go watch the Anna Green Gables play, go to the ice cream store that's famous in PEI. And if you're in New Brunswick, you'll get a full lobster dinner, so you get to see what it's like out in the Maritimes. And so whichever campus you are, it's not just nerd camp and STEM lectures or STEAM lectures. It really is about the exploration as well, and a chance to travel and see Canada in a way that you've never seen it before and get such an appreciation for how beautiful Canada is and how diverse Canada is. Shad is a month of firsts. Not first robotic. Shad is a month of doing things for the first time. That was a poor choice of words. So you're going to do things that you've never done before, and everything we do within the month of July is meant to really challenge you and push you outside your comfort zone. So you have a choice to either choose courage or you choose comfort. You can't have both. And what happens is courage is like a muscle. The more times that you choose courage over and over again, at the end of it, it strengthens. And by the end of the program, I guarantee you won't be the same person that you were when you entered it. You'll come out a lot braver, a lot more confident, and a lot more courageous. So for some of our students, they conquer their fear of heights for the first time. And I certainly did that at my Shad campus. We did a high ropes course, and I watched as every single one of my fellow Shads went through it. And I didn't think I was going to do the high ropes course. And pretty much every single one of my fellow Shads was cheering my name and showing me their support. And I found the courage and the confidence to actually go up and finish the whole high ropes course and conquer my fear of heights. For some students, it's their first time living away from home. It's the first time doing their own laundry. It's the first time traveling without their parents. And so it really is going to be a month of doing new things. And with every challenge, we're going to give you the most supportive environment so that you can really take it on and surprise yourself by how far you can go. So what we're really about is let's take you to your full potential and show you what that potential can be. And we're going to do that by throwing at you as many different challenges, workshops, and hands-on things as much as we can, and as well as give you the most supportive community in the world so that you can go do those things and show up authentically. And that brings us to what students say year after year after year is the best part of the Shad experience, which is the community. And I'm sure many of you first robotics students can also relate that some of the best parts of your first experience and going to these events is the people that you meet and the friendships that you build out of it. And this is certainly true of Shad, is that students might not remember every lecture or lab or workshop they did, but I can guarantee you they will remember the Shad friends that they made. And so at Shad, we always say that there is no exclusive relationships, and it is a place where there are no cliques, and it is an inclusive, supportive community. So everything we do is going to be about what can you contribute to this community, and how can we create space for every student at Shad to feel a sense of belonging and to feel that they have the space to show up authentically as who they are. And so it's a really transformative experience for students to be able to do that, and for students to say, wow, I've never felt a deeper sense of belonging than I have at Shad, and I've heard that over and over again. And to give you an example of just how strong the community is at Shad, I've been doing this for 6 years, and this happens every year without fail. on the last day of the program, we're trying to get the students onto the bus to go to the airport. So this is day 27. Without fail, every single one of the students, it doesn't matter if they're grade 10, 11, or 12, guy or girl, every single one of them is uncontrollably ugly crying because they don't want to get on the bus to go to the airport. And it takes us literally an hour of hugging and rotations of hugging to get the students on the bus to go to the airport. And so that speaks volumes to the level and intensity of the friendships that you're going to make at Shad. Like I said all campuses have their own unique flavor and one thing based on their resources, but one thing that is common across every single campus is the Shad Design Entrepreneurship Challenge. And so the DE challenge, as we like to call it, is where we give the Shads every year a huge, big, hairy problem facing Canada. And we say, all right, Shads, you guys are change makers. We want you to solve this problem that's facing Canada. And the way that you're going to do it is we're going to divide you into teams of 8 to 10. And within your team, you're going to solve this problem by coming up with a novel business idea, product, or solution. And so in your team, you are going to come up with a completely new business idea from scratch. And then your deliverables are a fully written business plan, a working prototype, and then a presentation pitch to a panel of judges, Dragon's Den style. So what are you going to get from this? Number one, we are going to give you mentors in the world of business and entrepreneurship so that you can figure out how do you write a full professional business plan? How do you create a marketing plan? How do you brand something? How do you think like a CEO, think like an entrepreneur, and go through everything it takes from distribution to selling to pricing, and think of all the things that you need to create a company from scratch and to be a very successful entrepreneur. So you're going to learn all the things it takes to build a business. And then on the flip side, simultaneously, we're going to take you into engineering maker spaces where you are going to learn things like design thinking, the engineering process, and we're going to give you all the resources and tools so you can actually create a working prototype. So you're going to be in engineering maker spaces and soldering stuff and building stuff, hammering stuff, coding stuff to bring a prototype to life. Or we'll bring you in to work with 3D printers so you can 3D print your prototype. But either way, at the end of it, you will have a minimal viable product to show. And at the very end of the program, you are going to do a professional presentation pitch to a panel of judges, Dragon's Den style. And so right before that, we're going to give you mentorship and training in the world of public speaking and pitching, whether that's through mentors, and again, more entrepreneur mentors. We're going to teach you all the ways that you can effectively communicate as a presenter so that by the time you reach your presentation room, you are going to be the best public speaker the world has ever seen, and you will conquer any possible fear that you might have of public speaking. So through the Design Entrepreneurship Challenge, you learn how to be a successful business person, how to do engineering and prototyping, and then of course, how to public speak effectively. As mentioned earlier, Shad isn't just a summer program. It is, in fact, a lifelong network. And so our alumni network is over 17,000 alumni worldwide, all doing incredible things. 32 of them are Rhodes Scholars. We have NASA researchers. We have NHL executives. Michelle Romanoff from Dragon's Den is literally one of our alumni. She also sits on our board. 4 of the current Prime Minister's Youth Council members are Shad alumni. And so 2 things happen once you go through the Shad program. Number 1, you become a member of this alumni community. So you become associated with this network of excellence. When people think Rhodes Scholars and NASA researchers and Dragon's Den dragons, they think of you and they think of the shared connection that you have with them, which is Shad. The second thing that happens is you actually get to tap on these individuals as resources moving forward. So we have an online alumni community where you can actually go online and contact any one of these alumni and ask for their help. So year after year, especially around this time, I see students jumping on our alumni network and saying, hey, I'm in grade 12. I'm applying for this university. Is someone at that university who can answer my questions about it? And inevitably, there's going to be an alumni that jumps on and says, yep, I go to that university. How can I answer questions about that? Or many of our students who have gone on to win the Schulich Leader Scholarship or the Loran Scholarship, which are $100,000 scholarships Canada-wide, many of those winners have come back to say, hey, if anyone's applying for the scholarship this year, let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer questions about the interview process or help you as you apply for the scholarship. So this is a really vibrant alumni community that can lead to future opportunities for you. Lastly, when you go through the Shad program, at the very end of it, you become what is known as a Shad Fellow. This designation, the Shad Fellow designation, is recognized and valued by universities and scholarship providers. So many, many universities have said to us that through their admissions team, that when they read Shad Fellow on a student's university application, they automatically bump those students to the top of the pile. I know of 2 universities specifically in Ontario that in their university application, they actually ask, did you go to Shad? Are you a Shad Fellow? And so we know that this gives students a leg up in university applications. We've also heard the same thing from scholarship providers. There were 3 main scholarship providers in Canada that provide the major nationwide scholarships that are $80,000 to $100,000 in value. All 3 of those organizations have said to us, we look for Shads all the times when we are adjudicating our scholarship. So where could you spend this July? So here are our 17 university campuses. You could be going to any one of them. So how this works is you apply to Shad, and if you are accepted, with your offer letter, you get a piece of paper with all of these universities listed on it. And then we ask you to rank them, your top 6 A choices, your 6 B choices, and finally your C choices. What we make sure is that students from the same school don't go to the same campus. Okay, so you're going to meet all new different people. And we also make sure that you don't go to the campus closest to your hometown. So if you live in Toronto, you won't go to Ryerson or York. If you live in Vancouver, you won't go to UBC. So we always place students outside of their hometown, and we always make sure students from the same school don't go to the same campus. Okay. Right. Are you a Shad? You were in first robotics, and so clearly you have Shad-like qualities that we look for. And so acceptance into Shad is on a competitive basis. It's a very competitive application process, and these are the qualities we look for in successful applicants. And if you are working on your application or thinking about putting an application, I recommend you stress these 3 qualities in your application. So this is what we call the 3 C's of Shad. So we're looking for students who have these 3 characteristics: curiosity, creativity, and change maker potential. So what do I mean by that? In terms of curiosity, we're looking for students who love learning for the sake of learning. So it has nothing to do with how high your marks are. In fact, your marks are the least weighted portion of our application. Instead, we're looking for students who just genuinely love learning. So if you're involved in FIRST Robotics, that's a pretty good indication of that you're looking for that enriched learning. You're looking to ask good questions and learn more about the world around you. You're coachable and you're open-minded. So these are the kinds of students we look for, as curious students. The second thing we're looking for is creative students. So we're looking for students who like to innovate, who have a creative side to them, who like to think differently, and also take the initiative to solve interesting problems. Okay, so is that you? And lastly, and the most heavily weighted portion of our application is the change maker potential. So we're looking for students who want to realize their full potential to make a positive difference in those around them. So we are looking for students who are well-rounded in their extracurriculars, who are out in the communities doing stuff, whether that's robotics or sports or arts or volunteer work or paid, they have a paid job, or they're involved in their school clubs or community clubs. So what are you doing outside of just going to school, studying, and Netflixing? So we're looking for students who do more than those 3 things. So are you involved in FIRST? Are you involved in sports? Anything to show us that you want to pursue your potential, and anything to demonstrate to us that you want to pursue your potential to give back and create a positive impact in the world around you. Okay, so curiosity, creativity, and change maker potential. Those are the 3 things that we look for. What does our application look like? Our application for Shad 2019 is due by November 19th. So you have just under a month to get your application to Shad 2019 in. And our application involves 4 components. Number 1, we ask for an outline of your activities. So this is simply a list of your extracurricular stuff that you do, the stuff that you're doing outside of school, outside of just being a student. And then the bulk of our application and what we mainly look at in evaluating is answers to a few short personal essays. So yes, there are going to be essays, and yes, it's going to require some work on your part to get your essays in and to get them completed. So in your essays, this is where we really want to hear your authentic voice. We want to know a story about who you are, and we really just want to get to know who you are as a change maker, as a youth, as a leader. So tell us about who you are. Tell us about what gets you up in the morning, what makes your heart beat, and what's the change that you want to make, and what are the things that you're involved in. We do ask for an academic transcript, but again, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Your marks are the least weighted portion of the application. Finally, we ask for a letter of reference. So I recommend that your letter of reference be a teacher, a guidance counselor, or a principal, someone within the school that knows who you are and can speak to who you are as an individual. Okay. The final piece of our application is an optional piece. Okay. However, if you are serious about wanting to get into Shad and you're serious about going to Shad, don't leave this optional. Actually take this portion of the application. So the last piece that we say it's optional if you want to take it is a visual, artistic, or video demonstration of your abilities. So this is super vague and super open-ended, and intentionally so. And this is our way of saying, is there anything else you'd like us to know about you that isn't covered in your essays? And so can you show us in a visual or creative way something about yourself that's not in written format? So I've seen a really wide, diverse examples of what people do for their creative demonstration. This could range from a YouTube link to a video of you talking to the camera, or a YouTube link of you doing different things like playing piano, or other activities that you're really passionate about, that you talked about in your essays, and you want to bring it to life through a video format. Or I've seen students send us their art portfolio if they're very artistic, whether they paint or they draw. So that's another thing that I've seen. Or I've had students send us lines of code or an app that they've built and sent us the link to go download the app. Or I've seen students send me SoundCloud links of, again, audio clips of their music that they produced or they've created or made, or scores of music that they've created and composed. So again, really, really open-ended, and it is a creative demonstration. But again, if you're serious about getting into Shad, take this option and give us something to help your application stand out. We read a lot of essays, and so if you have some sort of creative demonstration that's visual, that helps your application stand out. So that's my best advice for your applicants. All of this is due by November 19th. So you got to submit that in by November 19th, and you can access it by shad.ca/apply. Okay. Finally, what I want to make sure all students know is that we offer financial support to those who need it. And so what we always say is never let the cost of the program be the reason you don't apply. We offer a range of bursaries to students with demonstrated financial need to ensure that the program is accessible to them and their family. So we always say you will pay anywhere between $0 to the full program fee based on your family's income and number of dependents and financial situation. So don't let the cost of the program be the reason you don't apply. Furthermore, for FIRST robotics students specifically, we are offering an exclusive Shad scholarship open just to FIRST robotics students. How are you eligible and how do you apply for this? Really, really simple. Number one, you apply to Shad 2019. So do everything that I just said, do the application. In the application, as you're filling it out, you will notice that one of the questions says, are you in FIRST robotics? Yes or no? So click yes. And then the space right beside it says, please indicate your FRC team name and or number. So all you have to do is put in your team number so that we can verify that you are on a legitimate team and we can verify your participation in FIRST. And then I encourage you to talk about FIRST in your essays as well as your Shad application. And just by making sure that you tick off, yes, I'm in FIRST, and by showing us your team name and number, we will automatically pull you into a pool to be considered for the Shad FIRST Robotics Scholarship. So the Shad FIRST Robotics Scholarship is a fully funded scholarship, so a value of $5,700 for one student in FIRST Robotics to go to Shad fully on scholarship. What we're doing this year is actually, the last 2 years we have offered this scholarship. So if you want to read about the experience of our last 2 years of scholarship winners, you can find that on our website, shad.ca. This year we're introducing another FIRST Robotics Scholarship. This scholarship is specifically for a FIRST Robotics student who is an Indigenous student. So if this is you, please apply to Shad. You have nothing to lose. And there's an incentive there that you could be the winner of a fully funded scholarship. Okay, so we have 2 scholarships available. One for exclusively for any First Robotics Canada student, and then number 2, we have a second full scholarship for one First Robotics Canada student who is also Indigenous. Okay, all you have to do, apply to Shad 2019, and then check off the boxes that say, "Are you in first?" and then write us your team name and number, and then you'll automatically be considered. We will select a winner at the end. We'll notify a winner in the new year about the status of their scholarship. Okay. That is mostly it from me. These are all of our social media things. So if you want to tweet at us, follow our Instagram accounts, follow us at Shad Program. If you have questions after this, you can DM us on Instagram. That's a really great platform for us to connect with you personally. Or in the next slide, I'll throw out my email. You can always email me at any time if you have questions. And now I will throw open the floor to you guys, all the attendees on this webinar. Thank you for listening. Please, if you have questions, just type them in the chat box below, and I can start answering any questions you may have.
Wow. I'm not sure you took a breath the whole time there, Jess. That was pretty impressive. I have a question. You talked about them applying. Who decides? Are you one of the people that reads the essays and watches the videos?
I am one of them, yes. So last year we received over 2,200 applications. And so we have a lot of, I am not the one that reads 2,200 applications. We have a full team of readers who go through all the applications and mark them and evaluate them. But yes, I am one of many who read applications.
And what's the number of people that you take, students that you would take in a year?
Really good. Actually, that's our most commonly asked question is what's the acceptance rate? So last year we received 2,200 applications, and this year, 2,200 applications for 960 spots.
Wow, that's not too bad.
Yeah, this year we are on track to hit anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000 applications, and we have 1,000 spots available.
Those are pretty good odds, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Again, and especially for first robotics students, you guys have a lot of the characteristics that we look for in terms of being involved, being go-getters. I love the cooperation aspect of first robotics because that's exactly what we're trying to look at in terms of student leadership is student leaders who are cooperative and who care and who are empathetic towards another. That's exactly the kind of student we're looking for.
So I'm just going to guess that that's you on the left there in the green shirt.
Oh, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me.
I see. Well, we're at the end of our time, but we're going to post this on our YouTube channel, the recording, and we'll certainly get give an opportunity for everybody to ask questions that they may not have thought of right now. Because I was writing down questions as you were going through and had to cross out a whole bunch of them because you were answering them as I was going. So that was pretty good. So you've given a lot of information for a lot of people and a lot of things to think about for all these students. So hopefully we get lots of First Canada people going, regardless whether they get a scholarship or not. But I know the people I've spoken to that went just had an amazing time, and like you say, can't stop talking about it. So that's a wonderful thing. So thank you, Jess. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you back on again. Maybe you can be on to make the announcements in February or whenever the decision is made. That would be kind of fun.
That would be awesome. All right, thank you for all the students who jumped in and attended. Thank you. Yep.
And we'll certainly have more when we post it as well. For those of you who have been on our webinars before, you know that at some point I've listened to what Jess has said, and I've made up a question because you could win some First Canada swag, except for Mike, who's already won some, and he's on the webinar. So sorry, Mike. So near the beginning, Jess said she was in, and I'm going to use air quotes, a nerdy program in high school. What was that nerdy program? Don't blurt it out, Jess. If you send me an email, not you, Jess, but the attendees, before midnight tonight at pkeenan@firstinspires.org, you could win some first swag. I know Mike picked up his First Canada jacket on Saturday at Victoria Park Collegiate at the off-season event. So you could win some nice swag like that. And we're going to have special new swag, yoga pants, basketball shorts this year. So hopefully those will be big sellers and promote First Canada as well. So next week we have two gentlemen from Studica who are the place that we have our warehouse, and they're going to talk about buying parts, motors, gears, and game pieces from Studica through Andy Mark, and why that's a great thing to do and how you can go about doing that. So let your mentors know, and hopefully we'll have some of them on next week. And anyways, Mike here puts one comment in the chat and says, thanks for the jacket. So obviously he's enjoying it. If there's no other questions, once again, we thank you, Jess, and we'll be in touch, and I'll send you some information when we post this so you can see where it is and maybe get some more questions. So thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Good night, everybody.